Atheist Nomads, episode 179. What do we expect from Trump and whatever the hell else is going on right now?
The podcast you're about to listen to includes cursing and talking about hoo-haws. Please be advised.
We are the Atheist Nomads, bringing you history, science, politics, religion, and interviews with leaders in the atheist community. Not all those who wander are lost. Welcome to another episode of Atheist Nomads. I am Dustin. Joining me, as almost always, is Wesley.
Hello, everybody.
And me.
Joining us is Lauren.
And me, Lauren, the best. The favorite. The amazing
Lauren. You're my favorite.
I know, that's why you married me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to say that.
That's why you gave me all of your debt.
And money.
Because true love. Debt.
You got my debt and my income, so.
All right. Score.
Yeah. All right, so how's everybody doing?
Well, I took a 7-day course of 2 different antibiotics, and I am feeling much better. Hooray.
All right.
Very nice.
Way to power through.
Yeah. Sorry I wasn't on the last one, everybody. It was really shitty.
Yeah. We did get word that you weren't really not feeling well. You were hungover on Sam's couch from a listener. Now,
a concerned listener.
That, I think, was because you missed recording with us, but then we're on Asking Atheists. Which you'd recorded, what, like a month or two ago?
Yeah, it was well in advance.
Yeah, that was not the same timeline. Don't worry, we checked out his doctor's note. It's legit.
Yeah, doctor actually told me to take 2 days off and have bed rest. And then come back in for a second checkup.
So, oh, wow.
Yeah. Sam actually had a request in for a bunch of people to come over to his house and record, and no, I didn't show up. I didn't make that. Because my ass was in bed.
Yep, so that would explain the confusion there, dear listener.
One of the tricks of radio, or recording it, can be played later.
Yeah. Now, let's go ahead and move into the Dustin.
Aren't you going to ask about how I'm doing?
How are you doing, Lauren?
Oh, ooh.
Sorry. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Love. My sunshine.
I'm doing good.
Okay. Now for the Dustin off the degree. I hate myself.
Aw, womp, womp,
Is that how you feel about yourself, or what the title is?
That's how I feel about myself after spending a week with my family.
Okay.
There are so many people out there who probably can relate.
Yes, so if I were to describe how it went with my family, now with Lauren's family, it was great. There was beer, cute, well-behaved children. The dogs weren't as barky. The house wasn't as hot. The beer was a lot better.
My parents know how to beer it up.
It was a much shorter visit.
And the babies.
Overall, I hear a much better time had at Lauren's house.
Well, her sister's house. But yeah,
my sister's dollhouse.
The whole visit there was less than 24 hours, which always makes seeing family great.
Yes,
keep it short.
With my family, it was much, much longer. And if I were to sum it up, I held my tongue.
Right.
Until it hurt.
Until it was bleeding.
It's
like his soul.
Like, I was expecting a little bit of this, but we had, I've got 3 siblings and 3 step-siblings. And only once before have we actually had all 7 of us together. And like has happened on a handful of occasions, 6 of us were together. So that was interesting and not terrifying. Okay, yes, it was incredibly terrifying. Because we have the full range from probably alt-right to a Native American Indian lesbian to liberal atheists and everything in between. and high-ranking member of the military. Yeah, all of those, all in one family. Yeah. So we're
His
all
poor
there.
mother.
So we're there, and like one of the things that was annoying me at the beginning was how everybody was on their phone.
What are you talking about? That makes it easy.
No, I'd driven 500 miles to see these people, and they're on their phones. And then when I'm looking at the raccoons that had come to the door, because my parents have been feeding a three-legged tailless raccoon for 8 years.
Bobby,
which they
Sure.
then found out Bobby was a girl when she came with babies.
Bobby with an eye.
And I was capturing a video of the raccoon, which was really cute. And then one of the people present decided to read a cute little Facebook meme. Don't hire liberals. They are illogical, make very poor choices, and are guided by emotion. There was a little bit more in there than just that. And I thought, whoa. Okay, the opposite. I would just change it to, replace liberal with conservative and emotion with fear. Because what I've seen lately seems to be that conservatives are guided by fear mostly.
Yeah, that's quite the shot across the bow there.
And I was just like, nope, I'm just going to ignore that, because one thing that definitely sucks is when it comes to any kind of a physical altercation, whoever throws the first punch is always at fault. With anything verbal, it's whoever calls bullshit is at fault.
I was laughing my head off at this point because one, this guy had the balls to say this in front of two family members he knew were very liberal. Four family members that were very liberal.
Actually, Scott, 5.
And then also because I had also replaced the words in my head and found it hilarious.
Yeah.
Good times.
And then there were more things that were said, some of which were definitely flatly false. And I just kept quiet because I didn't want to start a giant dramatic mess or a fight, and because I love my mom. And she wouldn't have wanted that. So I kept my mouth shut. And then over the course of the rest of the weekend, and I'm not going to identify who the person was doing this, but just kept getting these little one-line quotes from probably Rush Limbaugh or Alex Jones or one of those right-wing blowhard assholes, and just kept kind of dropping those into otherwise innocent conversations. Like one was about, it had to do something about children, and then somehow lazy kids on welfare got thrown into the mix. It was like, wait, what?
Sure.
Yeah. It wasn't until finally, then dinner, one family member was telling my niece's almost 2-year-old for several minutes while the dogs were barking, and it was way too hot, to call me Butt. He was trying to teach this child that my name was Butt.
And he said it so clearly. Just this little butt. It was...
And
trying not to laugh too hard.
Continued with this. He must have said it 10 or 15 times. And I didn't want to cause... Lauren saying 5. No, it felt like a lot. It was... Yeah. I didn't want to start a fight, which my mom thanked me for later, because my nephew with cerebral palsy is very sensitive and would have probably been very upset by that. And no, what I should have said is, please stop. And if he had responded the way I was expecting he would have, which would have been, oh, why are you being such a pussy or something like that, I'd be like, all right, then find your own ride back to Portland. It was finally...
Everybody knows that butts can't drive.
Yeah. Finally, it was right before we left. A conversation that I did not start. One person made the comment that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. That made us all go, what?
There were attempts to just move on past that. It's like, no, we need to get back onto this. Why are you saying that? And he really, said, "Oh, they just say that, or their message is that people need to start killing cops." And I looked at him and I said, "That is the craziest bullshit I have ever heard."
At this point, I left. I was like, "Okay, I am out the door with the dogs. I will see you when I walk around the block."
And as in the country, there are no blocks, so she must have been walking for a while. Oh man. The key point, back to the title for the segment, I hate myself. The reason I hate myself with all of this was it took me until the very end to finally give up on trying to be respectful and keep the peace by keeping my mouth shut. I hated myself for allowing myself to be silenced. And it wouldn't be much of a stretch to view all of that as intentional attempts to bait me.
Yeah, that's basically what was happening.
And I didn't bite. But goddamn, I don't want to let terrible, horrible, hateful, bigoted things be said without anyone being called out for it. Because if you just let it be said and let it go, everyone present is at least implying that they agree.
Yeah, there is that's kind of a tacit implication there.
And fuck if I'm ever going to do that again. No, after this time, the gloves are off. If assholes are going to be assholes, they're going to get it.
Yeah. Well, so future trips will be fun.
Yeah, I would rather create a situation where my family doesn't want to see me anymore and they all hate me than to hate myself.
It usually seems like it's the liberal person that wants to basically keep a nice vibe going.
Oh, that's totally me.
Not
very guilty.
Rock the boat. But the right wing, the Republican, you might say, gives no such quarter to thoughts of family well-being.
Yeah. I intentionally did not bring up. I tried my best to avoid bringing up controversial topics unless I knew everyone present already agreed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that preaching to the choir where it's safe and dang if that just doesn't go right sometimes.
Oh, man.
So for all of you that suffer through the holidays, do what you need to do to not hate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna have to live with yourself more than you're gonna have to live with your family.
Tell you what, me and MJ stayed home and had Chinese food, and it was awesome. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Yay, Chinese food! Good times.
Fuck.
I had almond fried chicken, and it was worth every cent.
No, I kept getting stuck on replaying how everything went and how I felt. And then Lauren and I, when I got home from work today, we hashed it all out. And I'm in a much better place about it. I did talk to my parents the last night we were there. It was in the morning that my dad then had the Black Lives Matter statement. And I am sure that my mom let him have it after we left.
Yeah, because that's a really good way to make sure that your kid doesn't come back.
Especially since one of the things I had said to her was about how painful it was to keep doing this. And I want to be able to keep coming back to see family. But the way I'd been feeling, I didn't want to come back. And I told her that. And she'd actually told me that every time I bit my tongue, she saw the look in my eyes and it hurt her too.
Nobody likes to see their child go through that.
And I don't want to have to punish my mom for everybody else being assholes. I love my mom. She's awesome.
She is pretty awesome. I love your mom too.
All right. So let's go ahead and take a break and then move on to,
Lots of fun stuff.
Atheist Nomads is proudly brought to you by Archway Hosting. Check out their low-price, full-featured hosting solutions at archwayhosting.com. That's ARCHWAY hosting.com.
Hey, we're also brought to you by listeners just like you. Find out how you can become a patron at patreon.com/atheist nomads. That's patreon.com/atheist nomads.
We've been kind of saving stories since we covered the election quite a few times, saving them for this end of the year episode. What can we expect from Trump? Well,
so far, doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but it's hard to really pin it down based on anything from the campaign because he contradicted himself so many times. And surrogates definitely try to contradict him as much as possible. And even the Republican-controlled Congress won't pass most of what he said he wants to do. And even if he fills the Supreme Court with his cronies, they won't even sign off on it. So, no, he's not going to be able to do most of what he wants. But who he's picking to run the government definitely does shed some light on it. But before we get into that, his transition team asked the Energy Department about employees and...
Well, they want to full-on surveys of these people.
Yeah, surveys for the employees and contractors about who had attended meetings on climate change in the last 5 years. This is a 75-question survey. And
I also wanted to know about like the highest paid people, who they actually were. I mean, kind of concerning things, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to know everything about how they feel about things, any kind of professional and academic organizations they're a part of.
Yeah, it was total witch hunt.
Yeah, it was a witch hunt for people who work in the Energy Department, who you would expect to be scientists. Which ones accept science?
For me, I'm coming from this from a slightly different direction. As a government employee myself, the Energy Department has, according to this article here on FoxNews.com, $32 billion annual budget. And about 100,000 total employees are supplied by private contractors. Mm-hmm. The agency only has 14,000 actual government employees. So by far, most are contractors, which it troubles me a little bit, because I'm generally not too in favor of government contractors, but still, this is dirty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and heck, Lauren's dad worked for the Energy Department for a little while.
Yeah.
At INL.
Yeah, then he got fired for being too old.
I believe the official term was forced retirement, but yeah.
He got fired.
Same thing.
For being old. Everybody under the age of 55 wiped out.
Over?
I
said
just
under.
Watched a documentary on a...
No, you said under 55.
Sorry. Everybody over 55. That would be hilarious.
You'd have a very experienced group if you did it that way. Oh, sorry, Wesley, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that we watched a documentary on a Disney employee who got let go when he turned 65. And apparently that's fairly common practice over there.
Wow. Now, the only place where I'm aware of that's okay to do, where you're intentionally pushing people out for age, is the military and federal judiciary. A lot, and actually a lot of state courts too, where judges cap out at it's usually I think 70 or 75, depending on which it is, and the military has maximum ages.
You say federal judiciary, but that's definitely not the case for the Supreme Court. The
Supreme Court is
hold
different.
Office. Yeah, they hold office until they pretty much want to leave.
And Actually, no. Saying federal judiciary, no, that is incorrect. The only rule there on age is you can't be appointed chief judge for a appeals court if you are over 75 at the time of appointment. It's some states that have rules that force judges to retire.
Wow.
Which is why Roy Moore can't run for his job again.
Oh, thank fucking Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, federal judges are all lifetime appointments. All of them are.
Which is stupid.
Yeah. We
can get into that some other time, though.
No, I would actually personally be in favor of a 70 or 75-year-old cap.
So this article broke news, I think, somewhere around December 10th or so. Mm-hmm. A few days later, we're talking about Trump and his transition team not knowing what the hell's, what one hand is doing, the other hand, doesn't have a clue what's going on. Trump team disavows climate change questionnaire to Energy Department, which was released on December 14th on CNN Politics. So, yeah, I mean, the headline says it all, but the questionnaire was not authorized by our standard protocol. The person who sent it has been properly counseled, a Trump transition official told CNN on Wednesday. So, yeah, nobody really fucking knows what's going on, even his own team.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah, and the Energy Department did not cooperate.
No, they weren't going to hand that information over.
One Energy Department official called it a hit list.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah.
Had that feeling.
It's messed up.
Yeah. Okay, and we previously covered the Secretary of Education post, and I didn't put a link in for this one. And then I had to add in during editing that had changed to where, for Secretary of Education, we get somebody who has no background in education.
Sure.
Has not attended any public schools. Her children has not attended public schools. And she has worked as a lobbyist for homeschooling and charter schools.
So basically the enemy of all public schools.
And her stated objective in her career... Okay, she's the wife of a billionaire. I think probably more accurately, her stated objective in her hobby has been privatizing education.
Well, if you can afford it.
Right, but you don't want somebody like that to be in charge of public education and education policy. It is absolutely terrifying.
It kind of hurts the brain. Well, but this whole thing is just, it's going to go down as some kind of historical something. It's going to make a list somewhere as, like, getting the most appointments that are the antitheses of the departments that they're representing.
Yeah, and as somebody who went through private education, I think it needs to be shut down, personally. If I had my way, homeschooling would be shut down because kids that come out of homeschooling are fucked up. Parents are terrible teachers. Yes, I know there are some who are exceptions, but as a rule, parents who homeschool their kids are batshit crazy religious conservatives who don't want their children to learn. And there's enough of those that it shouldn't be a thing. And private schools, where they excel is the fact that they have small class sizes and smaller student bodies, so you get, better student to teacher ratios. You also end up not having a big enough mass to have the economy of scale to allow for things like a full-time nurse and a counselor and sufficient personnel to be able to deal with kids who have special needs or who are too smart for the classes they're in or who are
they have special
bullied.
needs. I'm betting they're just not allowed.
Usually.
It was like, sorry, we don't have the facilities for that.
And one of the biggest problems that happens with this is with the charter schools, you've got taxpayer money being pulled away from public schools that are already hurting for funds and being diverted usually to religious schools. Not in every state, but in a lot of states. And with DeVoy's thing, she wants them going to religious schools. And even if you don't have that, private schools, you've got the crappier ones that kids like me went to, where if you don't fit the perfect mold, which I was outside of the normal range with a tiny, tiny class, you are the outcast, period. And nobody knows how to help you because most of my teachers were fresh out of school and ignorant. They didn't have the experience or proper training to be able to handle it. And you have the added thing that for those who are going to good private schools, rich people, they have all the power in this country, and they're not putting their kids in public schools, so why are they going to care about public schools?
Exactly. They're not going to. They're going to divert away from it as much as possible.
I think at the very least, if you are in government, your kids should be going to public schools.
Well, I don't really have a problem with that myself.
Kind of makes sense to me.
I'll never have kids, so I don't really have a dog in that fight.
Yeah. There's only one thing where I think the KKK got it right, and that was in the 1930s in Oregon. They got the state of Oregon to ban private education.
Huh. No shit.
It was for all the wrong reasons. Because their reason was because they wanted to shut down Catholic schools. But the end result was cool, even though it only lasted for a few years, since their only reason was wanting to shut down Catholic schools. Yeah, and then we have Ben Carson.
Oh, goodness.
Who, if I remember correctly, just a few weeks ago said that he wouldn't accept a position because he wasn't qualified to run any kind of government.
Yeah. That's what he said when he was being talked about for education secretary. So, well. He also said that he didn't remember running for president.
I have a feeling that that's either a misquote or taken out of context quote, because obviously he must have remembered running for flippin' president.
No, I think he has dementia.
Well, then he fits right in with everybody else running for this.
He is when you look at his career as a neurosurgeon, he was one of the best doctors in the world. One of the most skilled neurosurgeons. He was, as a doctor, absolutely amazing. And for him to destroy the legacy that he had built up by becoming a political blowhard, and the things that he says, much of which just completely suggests that he doesn't remember anything about his childhood, because he talks against affirmative action, which has greatly benefited him throughout his life. He speaks against public education, which he was a product of, and against welfare programs, which is why he survived childhood. And it really wouldn't surprise me if he's got dementia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
So he may not remember.
Okay, well, that's the point.
You know, I really like this, though. I mean, he's getting appointed to serve as the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the HUD secretary. Mm-hmm. And he says that he'll focus on spiritual infrastructure. So basically, no infrastructure at all.
Yeah, what the hell does that even mean?
It means he ain't going to do shit.
Pretty much.
he will prey on it.
It's worse than that.
Prey on it.
That means he's going to focus on making sure that churches and church schools are built as a way to make cities great again. That's how you build spiritual infrastructure.
Okay. See, that at least makes a little bit of sense. It's still really screwed up, though.
Yeah, yeah.
In 5 years, maybe even less, I mean, nobody will ever be able to say X making, whatever it is, making America great again. They just won't be able to. Not with a straight face, and everybody will look down upon them with shame.
So
shame,
5 years,
shame.
2 when the 2018 president or 2020 presidential election campaigning begins. When every Democrat, when we get 10 Democrats running for president. Yeah. Oh man, Ben Carson is ridiculous. He forgot that when you retire from being a doctor, that you should just enjoy the successes.
Stay retired,
especially someone like him.
Yeah, go live on a beach.
Yeah, he definitely fucked up, but he might get. Oh, and with the position he's looking at getting, and yeah, if I'm sounding a little bit inebriated, I am drinking an 11.6% beer from a Das Horn. I'm
going to post a picture of it later.
It's a beer horn hanging from my neck.
It'll be in the show notes.
With 22 ounces of 11.6 beer. Yeah. And it's also not my first beer today. Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, yes. Housing and Human Development. He was a doctor.
Who studied hard.
How does that
qualify him at all?
Qualify him for that role?
It don't.
He realistically hasn't lived in the, quote, inner city since he was a kid. And, yeah, housing and urban development. He was a fucking doctor. That would be like putting a contractor in charge of a hospital. That's stupid. It is straight up stupid.
Well, all of them are. We haven't mentioned one that made sense.
Well, there's Jeff Sessions for Attorney General, who has turned down a appointment to the federal court system in the 80s because he was too racist.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not funny.
And he's going to be Attorney General?
Sure, why not?
That's what they meant by making America great again. That's what happens when you don't go out there and vote, people.
Yeah.
Great just means white.
And obviously we haven't really done that well over the past, couple hundred years, so maybe we need to pass the buck over to somebody else.
Fuck.
Seriously, yeah. When I hear make America great again, that's what I hear. Make America white again.
Mm-hmm. And with a
white and male,
and with an entire department being focused on spiritual infrastructure, that means Christian. And with another department trying to push charter schools, that also means Christian. So yeah, we're looking at quite possibly the first atheist president bringing about theocracy. If that doesn't make your head hurt,
and it should.
Oh man. All right, let's.
Even if he is an atheist, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't count.
Apatheist.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not rich, he doesn't care.
All right. So the pick for the Office of Management and Budget is Congressman Mulvaney. Mick Mulvaney from South Carolina, a founding member of the House Freedom Caucus. And whenever you hear freedom being used in the name of something,
freedom!
They don't want freedom.
America!
They want theocracy.
Constitutionalism!
He is one of the people who has tried to block any budgets that don't defund Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. About that. Planned Parenthood is awesome and don't touch it.
And defunding Planned Parenthood, what that really means is making it so that doctors who work there are different than other doctors and not allowed to get Medicaid payments. That's what that actually means.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid face. I'm not drunk, by the way. I'm just
flabbergasted, angry.
Yeah. I can't get too angry.
Befuddled.
I'm befuddled.
Oh, man.
I just can't believe that this kind of crap is happening. It's just, really?
Yeah.
Really?
So Trump's statement with picking Mick Mulvaney is, with Mick at the head of OMB, my administration is going to make smart choices about America's budget, bringing new accountability to our federal government, and renew the American taxpayers' trust in how their money is spent. Yeah. Oh, man. And his Freedom Caucus, they've basically tried to push for everything that we would oppose doing. Like, they are opposed to rules expanding rights for transgender students.
Well, obviously, I mean, those people don't deserve rights.
They're not real people.
Well,
They are. They're lovable, wonderful people.
They're some of our favorite listeners. Okay, Celia is.
But, you know, seriously, I mean, what's on your birth certificate's the only thing that matters, right? So, obviously use the correct bathroom.
I know. It's painful.
Kinda,
Yeah.
It's just a bit.
Oh, yeah, and he's also part of the pro-life caucus,
Sure.
which has been trying to push personhood laws. In particular, ones that would not only ban abortion, but many forms of contraceptions.
They need to ban male masturbation.
Okay, so and this is one of those math problems that they've got it backwards, where 2 + 1 = 0. That's not how that works. What it does is contraceptives prevent abortion.
Yeah.
So to prevent abortion, you need more contraception. Good job.
Yeah, because if you're actually anti-abortion, you necessarily need to be pro-contraception.
This whole abstinence only just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's a failed experiment.
But they don't want abstinence either. I mean, they want people married and making babies. For God.
For God and country.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
actually,
they need to get.
Yeah.
They need to get over that, because in the population cycle, we are in the stable range now. And no country has gone from stable population size or levels, birth rates and whatnot, to increasing birth rates again.
But you know what? You just have a war or two, which they love having.
Kill all the babies.
That helps, with the population.
I don't think it would anymore, because we've got war down to being so sanitary, where a few thousand dead is all you're really looking at.
You're thinking about it the wrong way. I'm thinking of world police. We just keep on opening bases in more parts of the world, and you need troops in those bases.
And we have more than enough.
Send them away.
We have enough troops for that.
No, they want more. They want more bases.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't want that.
Yeah, we can't
bases
afford
in
that.
like 120 plus countries right now.
Yeah, and
they're always looking for more.
And it is, anybody who supports that can't claim to be fiscally conservative.
Come on.
It is not.
None of them are fiscally conservative.
It's not fiscally conservative to be the world police.
They don't look at it as world police. They look at it as the new Rome. The
U.S. interests.
This is pure neocon kind of bullshit right here.
Well, and if you're actually doing that right, then at least money would be coming into the American people, which isn't happening.
Was it,
because with
Center
Rome,
for a New America, Bill Kristol and all that?
With Rome, all citizens benefited from the empire.
Yeah.
With America, everybody except for the richest lose because of empire.
Yeah. So, yeah, get ready to lose.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, and I heard on TV while I was at my parents' place that apparently Trump tweeted a threat for a new nuclear arms race.
Yeah.
Yep, that was...
Yay.
Putin was talking about expanding his nuclear arsenal, and then Trump just turned it into a race. So hooray.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, he said that he didn't say that.
Typical.
He didn't say what he tweeted.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it basically didn't mean what it said. Yeah. You can't nail this slimy motherfucker down for anything.
Yeah.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
All right. Well,
you can't put a nail in slime.
Which is what has some right-wing supremacists upset.
Word.
They have backed Trump and right-wing white supremacists, otherwise known as the alt-right, as they'd prefer to be called, or alt-right, as Alex Jules likes to call them.
Sticking with white supremacists.
Racist assholes, as I like to call them. They are definitely concerned about the Jewish Zionist power and are saying that if Trump does not stick with the plans that won their support and doesn't let them influence him, then they will revolt.
Well, they are revolting already, but... Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah. Oh, man.
How much bullshit is there in the world? Come on.
Okay, well, we've got a couple more.
We have a lot more, actually, yeah.
Well, they're talking about actually revolting. I mean, picking up arms and revolting against...
Yeah, we're thinking
nation.
like Malheur Refuge kind of anti-federal stance.
Which we just drove through.
Because the guy they wanted to win won, and now he's not bad enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Cough right into the microphone. Okay, so the next one. Let's see here. Trump's treasury pick. Tell us a little bit about this guy.
Bank. Bet he's white and from a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, so the last one that we're going to talk about is David Friedman, which is Trump's pick for ambassador to Israel.
Okay.
This guy is about as far pro-Israel as you can get.
Well, you'd kind of assume, though, that ambassador for Israel, you'd want somebody who's pro-Israel.
You want somebody who would be able to doctor some peace off, in the area.
Yeah,
this guy is not interested at all. And he's a very controversial figure as a pick to be ambassador. And we just know for a fact that it's not going to turn out well.
Well, it turns out he's a bankruptcy lawyer and the son of an Orthodox rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fervent supporter of Israeli settlements, opponent of Palestine statehood, and unrelenting defender of Israel's government. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. Which, if you know anything about Israel's government, they do terrible things.
Yeah.
They're pretty much in the center of a lot of violence and anti-human rights.
If it hadn't been for the Holocaust, I think Israel would have been getting the same flack that South Africa got for basically doing their own version of apartheid.
Yeah. And And the guy has no diplomatic experience. So once again, we have somebody going into a position with no experience.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing a pattern.
Which is actually the norm for high-level ambassador positions.
Yeah, that's just kind of like a thank you, usually.
Yeah, you usually get experienced diplomats for shitty places that nobody wants to go to. And buds who aren't all that qualified for the top posts, and also shitty places that everybody wants to go to. Like, I wouldn't mind being ambassador to Micronesia.
Or France, Rome, Iceland.
Ooh, Iceland, yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Anyway.
Norway, Belgium.
Yeah, it rains too much in England.
There's a reason why they're all miserable.
Sure. But
no offense, British, English.
With that fatty government paycheck, you could travel to, like, the French Riviera or,
Spain.
Some Riviera.
Rome.
I don't even care which one.
Rome.
All right. Well, I think we're ready for a break.
Yes, we actually are.
I actually called that one correctly.
You did. We love hearing from our listeners. You can email us at contact@atheistnomads.com, tweet us @atheistnomads, send us a message on our Facebook page at facebook.com/atheistnomads, or better yet, call us and leave us a message at 541-203-0666. We might even play it on the show. You can also help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcast directory of choice. All right, we're now going to move on to some other news, not Trump related.
Yeah, we're getting off the Trump
Train.
trampoline. Train.
The Trump,
train. That was the word.
The trampoline?
The Trump train.
Yeah, we're going to get off of that. So, Rabbi Baruch Rabinowitz went to his Santa Monica synagogue in California on the second day of Hanukkah, where he found feces and blood smeared on the window.
That's messed up.
Oh, just kind of gross. And you got to wait until it dries if you want to use a razor blade to scrape it off.
And the smearing was done in close proximity to a menorah display.
So are they, was that related? Is this a definite hate crime, or is it
according to Assistant
vandalism?
Rabbi David Tenenbaum, this seems kind of intentional. With a religious artifact in the window, we have to assume so.
Well, yeah, basically. You have to assume, otherwise, yeah, that's bad.
Generally speaking, if it is an attack on so if you've got a synagogue, a mosque, a black church, you assume hate crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah,
it's kind of the definition of a hate crime.
Yeah.
Well, that is really unfortunate. I hope that no permanent damage was done.
Smeared on the windows, they can clean that off. Pressure washer, it's done. But they still have to clean up somebody's feces.
Still a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a funny joke.
Yeah. And for a follow-up on the satanic pentagram in Boca Raton. So we already talked about the pentagram and how it had been vandalized. And so then what happened between the time we recorded and released the episode was somebody ran it over with their truck.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
They completely knocked it over. And FFRF by that point had replaced their stolen banner with Keep Saturn and Saturnalia. So for FFRF with their banners that they had there, I think they kind of almost won with that, because instead of getting one message up, they got 3.
Yeah.
And the Satanists got vandalized with an "In God We Trust" put over the Baphomet in the middle of the pentagram, and then it got ran over and destroyed.
Man, that's some solid shit. It was like 300 pounds and all metal.
So I think that somebody should go and destroy their nativity. Eye for an eye, as the old god would proclaim.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the old gods and the new.
If you think that's bad enough, The person who put it up is a middle school teacher.
Aww.
Oh, they're calling for his firing.
Yes, they are.
For putting it up?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For being a Satanist.
They don't want their kids being taught by somebody that put up a Satan display.
They don't get it, do they?
No. They've been
really
petitioning the superintendent, who said it is his First Amendment right to do stuff like that in his free time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that as a employee of the school district, he knows better than to bring that into the classroom, which he does.
All the fucking Christian teachers in there.
Yeah. And
no, he can't touch him.
Parents have already tried to get their kids out of his class, even though they were perfectly fine with him before the display. And they've all so far been denied because there isn't room in other classes. And they are continuing to petition for him to be fired.
Well, this is kind of like the guy in Twin Falls area of Idaho that people are trying to get him fired for saying vagina in the biology class. Mm-hmm. You know, you just got to stand with these teachers and just don't let them get bullied. Within 2 years, totally forgotten. Nobody will remember.
We'll see.
Well, actually, I hope this doesn't go away, because this is a town where nativity scenes will continue to go up. And I hope he keeps on putting up his Satanist display.
Ooh, a different one every year. Maybe we need to send him money. Somebody start a Kickstarter for this guy.
This is Boca Raton. I don't think of this as a fucking backwater, but goddamn.
We talk about that town every year.
Yeah, it comes up a lot. So I wouldn't say it's backwater, but it's definitely a center of controversy.
I would definitely put it in Sam Mulvey's obtuse triangle.
All right.
Ask an Atheist if you aren't already listening. You should. Yeah.
All right. Looks like you have an audio clip for us. We love audio clips.
Yeah. So this is the lovely Michael Savage, and I just want to let his words speak for him.
And I don't walk around looking at little white children, to be honest with you, seeing future slaves anymore. Did you know that? Did you know that that's what I used to see? I'd walk around and look at little white children, I'd shake my head and I'd say, if this doesn't stop, these children will be slaves in their own nation.
Yeah. So he's talking about, well, mostly the Obama administration.
Of course.
And that that's the way he felt, that, little white children would be raised up to be slaves of all the little not white children.
So who is Michael Savage and what does he do?
He's a conspiracy theorist, right-wing nut job.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
He has a radio show / podcast also.
And is not to be confused with Dan Savage by any means.
No, not at all.
Very, very different.
Who's a sexy
different.
mofo? Or
Dan? Sure.
Fo?
What?
He's just fofo.
He's fofo.
Yeah. As I understand, he's not even a doctor like he likes to say that he is. But yeah, he doesn't have to fear about, he had this long diatribe before this talking about how Obama, and that smile that you have to watch out for, because he instituted the largest spying policy on the U.S. And no, that was kind of Bush that did that. Don't get me wrong, Obama kept it going, but so yeah, this is a good buddy of, some of the worst conspiracy theorists out there. But what kind of crazy shit is this? He thought that, this is definitely one of the guys that thinks, blacks are completely racist and it's not white people's problems. Mm-hmm. And that, black people are coming out to get you. Black Lives Matter is a front. It's a
terrorist organization.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
these are the things that we try and like talk to people about and say, hey, be aware of this nutty bullshit.
Because it's not a thing. And feel free to use my response to it. That is the craziest bullshit I've ever heard. And even if it's your parents and they're conservative religious people, yeah, say that.
That's some nutty fucking bullshit. I totally agree.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so be aware of fucktards like this because they need to be outed and made fun of.
Yes, they do. We love to make fun of them, so join us in our revelry.
And moving on to me, a very sad thing. Carrie Fisher, she died today, Tuesday. She was a fucking boss. Strong role model and icon, vocal advocate for mental health issues. I mean, this woman,
one of the few people celebrities that openly talked about bipolar disorder,
which she was.
Which I didn't know until she passed away today. Now she had a heart attack on Friday.
Yeah,
Friday, and on an airplane on a trip to London. It has been verified that her work on Star Wars has already been wrapped up and finished.
Oh.
Of course, a part of me is like, well, that's beside the point. She freaking died.
Yeah.
But
what people are going to really wonder with that, like what I wondered when I heard she'd had the heart attack, was, okay, how's this going to change the next
No, they've already
chapter?
Filmed the chapters.
Which then brings up the question, and I hate to do this because, an awesome person just died, but are they going to add something to the end about her dying, or are they going to wait till the third one?
Oh, no, I'm sure that there will be in memory of in the next movie. You just get... You do it when it's most relevant.
Yep.
But, she was really a tough lady. I mean,
she was amazing.
She was Princess Leia at 19, as I recall, in the first one. Like you said, she did have bipolar disorder. She was
prolific writer. All of her books about what she had been through.
Yeah, and she never always made fun of herself because very self-deprecating humor and a really amazing woman.
I think one of her quotes was, I don't know how I go, but tell them that I died in the moonlight, strangled by my bra. It's like, okay, you're awesome. And it was really sad because 2016 is counting down and we are done with it. George Michael passed away. There was something like 400 major celebrities passed away this year. And it's
I really hope that George Michael died in just a haze of cocaine dust and bodies, just orgies everywhere. That's how I want him to have gone out.
I hope the same for Carrie Fisher.
It was on a flight.
No, the heart attack was on the flight.
And then she went to the hospital.
She had one last big party.
Oh, before the flight?
No, at the hospital. This is all headcanon.
Oh, okay.
George Michael needs to go out in a blaze of coke dust and orgies. I mean, he was sex to me.
And if we want to talk about 2016, seriously, how many awesome celebrities died this year?
I can't even.
So many. We've had all kinds of crazy shit coming out of the Islamic State. We've had tons of crazy shit coming out of Boko Haram and out of state legislatures across the country. Trump won. Brexit happened. I got, my own personal life.
I'm just waiting for Australia to break off and float into space in some horrible trauma.
In my own personal life,
Muhammad Ali.
I had a ghost.
Gene Wilder. Sorry.
In my own personal life, I had a ghost from my past. My past, who I hadn't had contact with in seriously 22 years, pop up just so that we could take care of his body. And then having to go through the loss of a parent that you haven't had contact with in more than 2 decades. That was some crazy shit to go through.
But we got to go to Glacier National Park. We got to go to LA and see my cousin. We got to... There's good stuff in there, too.
There is,
so
yeah.
Look back on the past year and focus on the good, because if you focus on the bad, you'll just sit there wallowing in unbearable feedback loops.
Especially when you consider the fact that when you look at it, 2017 was probably going to be as bad or worse.
No, we're going to make it better. You hear me? We're going to make it better.
Again. It's going to be great again.
We had
impeachment proceedings will begin.
And then we got Mike Pence. And
you know what? No more beer for you. I'm cutting you off.
I'm still gonna say, remember Bowie, remember Rickman, Gene Wilder.
Remember all the good guys, all the good gals.
Carrie.
Vera Rubin just passed away.
Ron Glass. He was in. Oh goodness.
Ron Glass.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron Glass. I thought you said wrong.
Barney Miller.
Like that's the incorrect
Firefly.
glass. I'm like, is this one poisoned?
And Lauren, I haven't had too much to drink.
Well, stop being so depressing. The show gets so depressing sometimes.
Yeah, it's because it's been a shitty year in news.
It really has. This has been a horrible
Oh, and Double Stuff died. Oh, the orca. That was too bad.
Now,
Now I'm sad.
And you guys are all focused on celebrity stuff. Lauren, in your case, an animal celebrity. But one thing that is kind of nice for us is, as podcasters, as long as the years are shitty, we have plenty to talk about.
I would rather have nothing to talk about.
I would rather talk about good things. Like puppies.
No.
And cupcakes.
No.
And unicorns.
Cupcakes?
No.
My brother got the unicorn head for my niece, and apparently she just kept hugging it all day, going, "Aw." And I told him to send me a picture. Our
friend Michelle gave us a catercorn horn.
Oh my god, those things are so cute.
It's really adorable.
Oh my god, they're little inflatables.
Yeah,
they're so cute.
And I just finished my Das Horn.
Really
Das Horn. He drinks like a Viking now.
Time for another bottle.
Yep. My mom got me the chemistry set spice rack. So now I have test tubes full of saffron and rosemary and thyme.
Ooh, saffron.
Yeah, saffron. I'm excited.
Wait, you have a test tube full of thyme?
I do. That's so cool sounding.
Are you a time lord now?
Not a lord, more like a lab assistant.
So a doctor's assistant?
I expect some posts like that. I have a test tube full of thyme.
Nice.
Wear a bow tie.
I don't have a bow tie.
Dustin?
He has a tie.
I haven't had a bow tie since I was 7.
Yeah. I've only had one, and it clipped on.
Mine was also clip-on.
So do we have any new feedback?
Oh, yeah.
We already covered it.
Do we have any new supporters?
No.
All right. So guess what, guys? It's the end of the year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! It's time to support those podcasts that you really love. Yeah, it's the new year. It's time to get fit, eat healthy.
Even though
give to charity.
Chinese New Year doesn't come for like a couple months, but still.
And
Chinese New Year is so delicious.
Yes. Happy New Year, and remember, not all those who wander are lost.
Aww.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Atheist Nomads. You can find show notes and contact information at atheistnomads.com. Follow us on Twitter at Atheist Nomads, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/atheistnomads. Please subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcatcher of choice, and while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. Theme music is courtesy of Sturdy Fred. Until next time, this has been the Atheist Nomads.
All right. That's it.
All right.
Wow, guys.
What?
That got dark.
It was a dark episode.
We need more light.
Year.
Yeah, darkness is for beer, not for podcasts.
For our show?
Can we post a picture of your cat on, like, put it in the show notes?
Sure.
Let's do that.
Get it off of MJ's page.
On the face, I'll put it on the Facebook page. Oh my God, Dustin. No. Okay, there you go. He had the DOS horn all wrapped up in his headphone.
It wasn't all wrapped up in. I put it on before I put on the headphones, and that was a mistake. Pro tip, put the headphones on before you put on Das Horn.
Das Horn! Oh, fantastic. No, but I am really excited about the saffron.
Spices again.
Put that in all of your rice.
All of your rice. Okay, I will. It's awesome.
Yeah. Saffron belongs in rice.
Good to know.
Lots of other things too, but rice. Ooh.